so the one person can join in.
What's happening behind you?
There's cats.
Wait, you need to like move your thing over, Ben.
We have a cat infestation.
Get out of here.
Is it George?
It's Mittens.
Like, move it that way. Or just needs to be closer to you. It's too far away. There you go. Not that's like matters really. Don't let anybody see behind you.
Actually, I need a water.
Get it now.
Yeah.
While we have the stream starting soon, sign up.
Because after that, there's no going
There's no
back,
turning
baby.
Oh, I forgot to add chapters on the YouTube video of the podcast.
Oh, we can,
We need our, like, it'll be easy now that we have just our top threes.
Oh, it can be like top 1, top 2, top 3.
Yeah. Or like,
Well, it'd be great if I knew how to work a phone.
you know what we should be playing in here is the Jing Jangle Jew.
Wow, watch your language.
The Jing Jangle Jew!
Is that what he does? That is what he does, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it gonna happen?
Don't have the sense they was born with.
They was
The
born
Sense
with.
they was born
Come on, let's hear the Jing Jangle Jew Jing.
Yeah.
Hear the Jing Jangle Jew
He
Jing.
sounds like that. Someone said you get one more sentence before you die, and that's what he yelled out.
3, 2, 1.
Well, come on, let's Jing Jangle Jew. Your face is pretty, your mom's ain't too. I'll meet you down low, Beneford's Farm, and I'll twist your neck and I'll break your arm.
Oh.
Your daddy were an ogre and your mommy were a troll. Your dress smells just like an outhouse hole. I'll meet you down in the moonlit glade and I'll turn your face into marmalade.
Yikes.
Yeah, what are they saying?
You're tough, but you just ain't so. I'll meet you down at the old fish fry and I'll break your nose and I'll black your eye.
I'm like, you're right.
Come across one that reminds me of you.
Although this reminds me very much of the Renaissance Festival, for sure.
Oh yeah,
Almost a
definitely.
Jing Jangle Jew. You know?
You know.
This music that's in StreamYard is my favorite music in the world.
It's like do 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 do.
My favorite
No.
music is if you press test to make sure the audio's coming out of your headphones. That's my favorite.
Let's try
She's
that
like,
now.
we're
Hold on.
testing the mic, like, or whatever. like,
Testing the music of StreamYard.
yeah. She's going to town.
Sounds
I'm
like
afraid.
they're working.
Yeah.
Have a
Good
great show.
I'm afraid I'm gonna like down this like apple juice kind of thing.
I thought for
Alright.
sure it just was apple juice, and you were just joking.
No, this one it's a apple spiced wine. So
Ooh.
it is.
Wait, can you please hold
Yeah,
up
hold
that?
on. So it's the
Casper?
white version of this.
Oh, see, I thought that was red, and so when I said pour a 16-ounce red, I thought it was, she knows not to do that.
Well, I have the red down here just in case I'd like to add
Just
after
in
this
case.
wine. Look at this
Make
baby.
a rosé.
I can
Make
see
a
it.
rosé. It just tastes like I'm drinking nutmeg and apples, so this could go
Ooh,
down
yeah.
pretty quick.
That
which
Casper
could be
glass, I love
dangerous.
that.
Yeah, that's a keeper. I love
Man,
that.
I'm so happy I got this.
I like it also because
Also, I thought this was his butt. At
that's
first.
exactly where I was going to go. I thought for sure it was like a...
It was him being like, yeah, exactly.
Which
I know. At
I would
first I was
pay
like,
a lot
whoa.
of money for like a cheaped up Casper on the side of the glass.
That's totally what they were on comics, though. It was like, me. And you're like, oh gosh, Casper.
Naked on screen.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah,
Sure.
just let it rip.
Okay. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Date Night D-List movie review. That's right. This week we watched Season of the Witch. Is that right? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Season of the Wig.
Season of the Witch.
2011.
2011, starring
This was
Nick
2011? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You could also say like 1998.
I would have said 2001. I honestly
Cage. The
would have said
CG in this
2001.
is so bad.
Just everything about this is just
Oh,
unremarkable.
Emily's still
Yeah.
big. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
No,
sorry.
we're just gonna keep it.
It's just
keep
me the whole
zooming.
time.
Keep zooming.
All right, right off the bat, Emily's got her Casper cup. It's full of spiced
do.
wine.
It does look like apple juice, but it is wine. So this
I'm
could
jealous.
get
I want
sloppy by the end. I mean, warning you now.
Joe from Board to Play asks, "Would you rather drink that or eat apple pie?" I don't know why you wouldn't want to eat
I
apple
want
pie
the apple
choose
pie, but I
both.
would like both. Yeah.
Yeah.
on the side. I don't know. Do I
This
want?
is
I like
really
a cup
good,
of
though.
coffee though with a slice of pie.
Ooh.
They're both good.
That wine
True.
kind of sounds like it fits. That'll get your apple pie fix
That's true.
for a
It
day,
will.
right?
I haven't had the red yet. It's the white version of this, though, if anyone's wondering.
Could you hand me, Emily? Could you hand me your notes there for just a moment so I
Oh.
can read the IMDb introduction to this movie that is,
I like the way we're set
without
up,
a doubt, worthy of its D-list stamp.
Yeah.
So here we go. A 14th century knight transports a suspected witch, very suspected, to a monastery where
Alleged.
monks deduce that her powers could be the source of the Black Plague.
I mean, that's accurate.
Yeah.
I don't
Sure.
know. That doesn't tell
Okay.
me anything.
That makes it sound more exciting, I feel like, than it is,
But
probably. but-
that may not be entirely accurate, but that's about as deep as this movie goes,
That's true.
yeah. It
right? This
doesn't-
is all this is big DVD energy. This is dollar DVD.
You find it at garage sales kind of
Yeah,
thing?
at Walmart, still brand new, dollar bin, right?
I had never heard of this movie. It's got Nick
haven't
Cage
either.
and Ron Perlman in it,
I
who's
can't
playing Hellboy
believe-
in this movie.
Yeah,
He's
I like Ron Perlman in this. He's fine. Nick Cage,
Oof.
he's caging it up.
Well, it's almost like Ron Perlman is like there's like the fourth wall broken a little bit.
Yeah,
Every time like something crazy's about to happen, he's like,
He's like-
no.
guess we're in a movie.
Right.
Guess we.
He's always like, no, we're not gonna do this.
That is very true.
and he's like that, and then Nick, I swear, in some scenes, sort of like how Matt Damon did like the voice in Great Wall. There's parts in this
Yeah.
where Nick Cage like gets Shakespearean, where
Yeah.
he's like, "We shan't be killing the witch yet until we," and it's like, what? And then it pans to Ron Perlman, and he
Then-
like, "I guess we're doing it." Like
it's
all
it's like watching a stage play. Like it's filmed,
It is.
but it's like a stage.
Yeah,
Like
I
it's
see
so
that.
weird.
yeah,
Yeah, they do sometimes have, like, some people have accents, some people don't.
yeah.
Yeah, Nick Cage just is Nick Cage.
He's
Um,
get in the cage.
which is, it's just weird.
Just
And
strap
there is a
yourself
fruit
in.
fly
Oh, I gotta
already
get my notes here.
He's
aiming
got a
for my
crazy
face.
wig. He's got season of the wig,
Oh my god.
No kidding.
which he
Also,
commits to
I
all
mean, if-
movie.
He's supposed to be this, like, I mean, he's like a knight, and him and Rob Perlman are like, they're the top tier of knights, and Nick
Mhm.
Cage does not. He looks like anybody could sneak up on him. Like, he is not
Oh,
in
yeah.
any way like,
Oh yeah,
got in shape for this. Like, there is nothing different than he just walked onto set and was like, let's do this.
oh, yes, absolutely. I did want to say, if anybody has any remote interest in this, don't watch this. Go watch the show Witcher on Netflix.
Whoa.
Because-
Yes.
Somebody read the books, The Witcher, and said, "Well, I'm going to make that and not license it, and I'm going to make it
And that's
for
how we got
$12
this.
million." Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what this is now. And it's bad.
95 minutes.
I do
so
like
I
that
liked
short.
that about it.
It's a brief 95 minutes too. It does
Yeah.
it moves. It's not well,
It's not
there's some
boring.
exceptions. No.
I mean,
it's-
like, it moves along. We've watched some movies that you're like, I don't know what we've been doing for a while. But this one, I mean, it's fine. But it's short. It's very short.
Yeah.
But anything else, or should we get started?
I-
Ben, do you have your notes?
I can't believe how many notes I have about Nick Cage's lines and how he
Oh.
delivers them.
Yeah, there are some quotes where he's like, here we go. And it, like, yeah.
Nick's first lines phoned in. That's because I assumed they were going to get better. And
They don't.
No,
They don't.
this is paycheck for him. Season of the paycheck.
Right. Baymax.
Yeah.
That's right,
So,
Bayman.
so
Okay.
Nick's name
Yeah,
is
let's get into
Bayman.
it. Let's get into it.
Let's get this show on the road.
Okay, so but the main ones are Bayman and then Felson.
Felson or Felton? It's Felson?
It's
It's
Felson
Felson
is
with
what,
an
yeah.
S.
What
Yeah.
about DeBallsack?
There's DeBallsack.
Yeah,
I will call
DeBallsack.
him just Ballsack at some point, I'm sure.
He's brother de Ballsack. Not just not
Like,
just de
and-
Ballsack.
You think we're mispronouncing that, but we're
Nope.
not.
Nope.
That's his
That's it.
name. His
It's
name
got-
is DeBelzac.
Yeah.
DeBallsack.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's his name.
This movie is just
It's goofy.
there's like I was trying to figure out how to say this. Out of all the movies we've watched, this probably has the least in terms of just stuff.
You
in
know
it?
what I would say? This movie's
Yeah.
harmless.
Yes, that's a great way to say
You know
it.
what I mean?
It's weird though, because I don't know if they were trying to go like spooky
No,
or
it's adventure. It's like
Yeah,
action
Disney's-
adventure. It's like I'm trying to think of. There was another one about this time. This is around like didn't who's the Fast and Furious guy? Vin Diesel did like he did like a Witcher movie, right? Where he was like hunting shit. And Hugh Jackman did a movie where he was Van Helsing.
yeah,
And
That's true.
that's
I
true.
feel like
Yeah.
we're in that sort of like, well, let's take a stab at
Yeah,
monster
like vampires
stories.
and
Yeah.
monsters. Yeah. That makes sense.
I think, yeah, go ahead. Witch
Sure,
Hunter. There it
okay.
is. Board to Play's got it. I was just going to
Yes.
say it. The Witch Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody
it's the
went
same
and read
sort of thing.
The Witcher and they didn't want to license it. So they just made movies
Right.
based
Did
on the
this.
book.
Well, this is still after Lord of the Rings was winning Academy
Oh my
Awards.
gosh.
Less than a decade earlier. So
Yeah.
Not
Wait,
that
so it starts
not that
out-
matters for this movie.
Oh God, no. So the year is 1235. So long time ago. So there's girls in chains. Everyone's pulling them up and
Oh,
like
that's right.
yelling that they're witches. Of course, they're denying it. And then they say, if you confess, we'll save you. Of course, they confess. In which case, they're like, it just saves your soul. It doesn't save you. And then they chuck
Still
them
gonna-
over a bridge and hang them like big
Like-
time.
like
Like,
throwing a prop.
yeah.
Imagine what it looks like to throw a prop person over a,
a prop
bridge.
body.
Yeah.
And so after
what
they're
it is.
hung, then they dunk them in the water to drown them, just to make
for-
sure.
You got to double check.
Gotta double check.
Very
things.
important.
So then later that night, the priest comes back. He drags him up, which I find it weird he's doing this on his own. Like just one priest.
Because none of the guys wanted to help him. Remember,
Is it
they were
'cause
like
they're just-
hung and
Yeah.
drowned.
Oh,
Good
okay.
enough. Like they're dead.
Well, he brings them back out, which is weird, to like read out of this book.
The Book of
So-
Solomon. Got to read out of the Book
Is
of
that what
Solomon,
it
which
was?
is the like.
Apparently
A
it's
tome.
a curse breaker. I mean, that's
It's
Apparently.
very Constantine-esque,
yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
we're battling demons.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am an agent of
But it-
heaven.
But at this point in the movie, it's very up in the air about
Like, are the guys crazy
the
or the women
legitimacy
witches?
of the
Yeah.
right.
Right. I actually think that they did well in that part of the movie at like
Yes.
making you constantly question the
Yes.
holy people in the movie to be like,
Yep.
this is all a ruse. Like you guys are just
You're
maniacs,
just making
right?
this shit up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
So he drags them back up onto the bridge. He reads to their dead bodies. One of them he's reading to, like, starts spitting up and shaking and stuff. Which was that just like
Coincidence or
was that like the dead body just having trouble because it
No,
got
I
out,
think
or-
she probably was a witch.
Was that her,
and
like,
so when he
dying?
read the witch words,
he exercised that one.
right,
right.
that one.
Yeah.
Now the other one was
Okay.
witch. We'll get
Air
to that
quotes.
later. I don't want to
Well,
spoil
but
it.
then he goes
Yeah.
to get the last body. So he did the first two. There were three. He goes to get the last one, and he like can't get her up.
Out of the water.
And then and then I believe he falls into the water.
Yep.
He gets back out, and then she zooms out of. She
Yeah,
flies out of that water.
She Iron Man's out of the water. Like palms down, feet down, right?
She
That like hover.
yeah, like jumps.
Yeah, and then Cue Marvel Studios. Right?
The like comic book pages start falling.
Or whatever the theme is.
No, that was
Yeah.
perfect. That was perfect.
She grabs the priest. He runs to get his book to like read really quick,
Oh,
and of
that's
course,
right, yeah.
she's like, She, I don't know why the witches have to like turn into zombies essentially, but they get like long nails. Her face turns like dead,
Well, that-
zombie-ish.
That's
That-
because they're
Right.
witches.
Yeah, but it's
Air quotes.
why would
they're-
you have to? I don't.
Because
Whatever.
they're not witches.
Okay,
It's
but
always
then,
that. It's the same. Which it's
Yeah,
the
but
same
does it
person each
matter?
time.
I
But
don't know.
still, it's
Yes.
just. But she lights his book on fire, and then she ends up hanging him. So his body
Yeah,
like falls down.
Right.
She
One
got
book
him.
of Solomon down.
Right.
There's multiple
One-
copies of this.
Right.
So then we head to 1332. Okay,
Well, that's a
There-
big time
Is
jump.
this before? Or I
Yeah, it
didn't.
is.
What was the first number?
The first one was 1235.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
it's a big jump.
So Nick
this
Cage
is
isn't
where
even
we meet.
born yet. All right.
We meet Nick and his friend. So we meet who?
Feston?
Ron Perlman.
Bayman and
Fester.
Felson.
Uncle Fester.
This is
What's his name? Felton.
Felson.
Felson.
I thought it was Fulton. No, it's Fulton, like the
No,
thing from
it's
Metal Gear
not.
Solid.
No, it's
No,
Felson.
it's not. I looked it up.
I
We
had
meet,
I had subtitles on it. It's Felson.
It's definitely from Metal Gear Solid.
Then this is picture number 1. So we meet them.
Oh my gosh, there's pictures.
So they're in the middle of a crusade.
Pictures
let
are the
Ben
best
get
part
pictures.
of this. I love this.
We're in the middle of a crusade, so they're like standing on the hill ready to go to battle.
Yeah,
This is when you
yeah.
find out they're hot shots. So they're like, I'll take the 300 on the left if you take the 300 on the right. And they're like, winner buys drinks, bitches. And they're, yeah. So they're hot shots. So here they are.
Look
Oh
at
my
these.
gosh.
These guys are
Look at
badass.
This
Yeah.
is later. This is later.
Yeah, this is
This
later.
is
but-
definitely
Go to the
later
next
because they're
one.
not in their Crusader outfit.
Yeah, the
I
next
see-
one
yeah, the
shows
next one is-
shows Nikki
No.
in his outfit.
This is how you get. This is how you get to meet him.
Nick with a 4-gallon pail on his head.
Fucking thing. This is the stupidest. Like they're trying to show how like he's an elite warrior, and
it's like bobbling on his
you
head
can't
and
even
shit.
Yeah.
tell it's him.
Yeah.
Because it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. This scene, this like montage of them fighting for 10 years or whatever.
But this is how we find out. So it shows them fighting, and then it shows them at the bar with a bunch of girls. So like they always survive. They're buying the drinks, and then it cuts to
Why do I- I'm
1334,
surrounded
and they're
in
battling.
clothes.
And then 1337, and then 1339. And this is when, like, in one scene, Felson, like, grabs a guy and just breaks his back, just crushes it by, like, from behind.
right.
And you're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, okay.
It's also very unconvincing because he just
Yeah.
kind of like
If you bear hug
he does
someone,
like a back crack. He
It
doesn't-
goes from at the beginning of the montage, they're like good sword fighters, and by the end, he like crushes that guy and then throws him so hard that he like goes
Yeah,
through like
they're, like,
20
superheroing.
dudes.
I
Yeah.
didn't see
doesn't
that.
make sense.
It like it
I was
starts
tuned
out
out
that it's
already.
like it's almost at 300 level, and by the end, it's like he's the Hulk. It's like the weirdest thing ever.
it's Felson,
And
man.
but all I wrote here was who is who. Because Emily
'Cause they
grabbed
had
a
these.
screenshot, but this comes on on for like 1 second, and then it goes to somebody else, and you're like we're
Yeah.
looking at a still
Mm-hmm.
image here, and I can't tell you that that's Nicolas Cage. And,
Look at that mouth,
and it's
though.
just
You
like
can tell.
Yeah.
you could I know
what
definitely
you
tell when
mean.
it's Ron Perlman
Yes.
because his chin is sticking out of the helmet. But
It's like, oh my gosh.
I can't tell if they were going for realism with the helmets or
I
cheapness.
guess.
that
Right?
doesn't fit at all.
But like the real ones probably
Look at
were like
this.
just
Look
grab
at-
one out of
look
the
at
bin.
this. This is
Well,
like
exactly.
I'll put
Exactly.
a garbage pail on my head.
Yeah, but in reality,
I mean,
they make a
it's
bunch of one size fits all
1337.
so that when this dude dies, you can just pick his helmet up and slap
they?
it on your head.
Do you
they
think
make
they
them one size fits
individually
all?
like?
I
I don't
assume
know.
so.
I don't know.
It's probably a little bit both.
Anyway, this intro goes on for a long
it
time.
goes on,
It's
so you see
long.
all the battles to be like, wow, they're so cool. They're
It's
all
like, we get it.
over the place. But
It
then
shows
we
them
get to
killing
what? Keep going.
multiple types of infidels, air quotes, and unbelievers.
And the whole time, there's like the main guy from the church, like screaming
That's
behind
right.
them
Yeah, there's a
about
priest
like,
or whatever.
yeah, like you
You're
know how
blessed
they're
by
doing
God
like
and yada,
God's
yada,
work
yada.
and blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
I do have to admit, in the decade since this film was made, that intro doesn't sit as well with me
Yeah.
as it maybe would have 10 years ago.
Of just killing,
But then
killing
again-
civilizations left and right.
But then again, that's what the Crusades mostly were,
Well,
right?
exactly.
So
It's realistic.
how do you
So
do you-
That's what this film is, realistic.
do you throw in them killing some white people to prove that, like, I think you have to show it somewhat realistically as
Right.
the
Why are
awfulness
you,
that
like,
it was.
bopping
What
everything
are you
around?
doing?
look at this goblet that Emily provided me
blood?
of spiced wine. Very thematic for the time.
It is.
It is.
Blood.
We finally get to 1344. So they
Okay.
storm some sort of castle. I don't know. And they're like attacking everyone. And you see in slow motion, what is his name? Bayman. He
Bayman.
kills like a
Baymax?
random girl. And this is when he realizes, hey, we're just killing like regular people.
Yeah,
Just call
or
him Nick.
monsters.
And yeah, so at the end of that battle, you look around, it's just like women and children everywhere. And this is when he confronts like the priest guy the guy in
doesn't
charge.
have a name. I
Yeah,
don't
and they
think.
pretty much say like, hey, we're not going to kill for the church, screw it, and they leave. So it's, God, I cannot remember their names. Felson and Bayman leave.
Yeah.
Best friends.
Felson and Baymax.
Yeah.
Fulton and Baymax.
Fulton
Is that what
and
you just
Baymax.
have written on the whole time?
They take. I don't want to get like. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I thought they did a really good, interesting thing of having Nick say, "I'm not going to fight for the church. I'm willing to fight for God, but not for
Yeah.
the church." Right?
Yeah.
I think he draws a intelligent line there, right, between what they're
Mhm.
doing and what they intend to be doing. And then I think there's another point later where it comes up again, and it's like,
Yeah, he says something like that.
yeah, and it's like, okay, I get that. You know,
He's
and
like, I signed up to do this for God, but not like the weird things the church wants. Like,
Yeah.
however he
I don't
says
know.
it. But
I
was-
agree. I feel like at this point in the movie, I was
we're
like,
still okay.
Yeah.
The only problem I had was Nicolas Cage was being casted in this role was a huge mistake. The rest of it so far had been fine.
it is.
I
It's
think he
really
coulda-
weird to.
He was so out of character. It was insane.
Well, he's not a good actor. Let's just let's
Apparently
just get
not.
that- let's
He can
just-
It was
only
horrible.
look for the declaration, and that is it. That is his
and even
one.
that's I don't
that's
know.
a
That's
goofy
a
stretch too.
So
but...
who's our fan cast here? I like
Oh,
that he's a little
gosh.
bit older, right? Because he's been through a lot.
Right?
and-
Yeah.
I mean, you
I
could
don't
put
know
any
who it would
old
be.
guy in the.
It was just, but it was that. It was very much
for the
like
play. Nick Cage is a national. That's very
He's-
true.
He is the national treasure.
it was
That's
very
what-
much like Matt Damon in The Great Wall. Like you were like, what is
Yeah.
this accent? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't understand why are you
he's in a-
talking like that?
He's in a different movie because he either didn't do the research or didn't
Yeah.
get paid enough or just doesn't care.
Right.
And I don't know.
It's weird.
But I'm on
Anyway.
board. At this point
And
in the movie,
yeah,
I'm still on
I was
board
like,
because
okay, this is
he made some
interesting.
good points. Like you're like, wow, this crusade is messed up, and he turns to the guy 10 years
Yeah.
after 10 years of crusading, he goes, this is messed up. And I did like how he was like, I'm leaving, and then he's like, you can't leave, and he's like, who's gonna stop
Yeah,
me?
and they just
Yeah.
walk away.
Who's gonna stop us? Like they're clearly like the best fighters or whatever there,
Yeah.
and he's like, bye. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
This too. Man, Nick Cage
That-
should have been
that
in
might have
Barry
worked.
Wall.
That would have worked.
That probably would have been better than Matt Damon. Man, him.
No, Matt Damon. Who was
And
Matt Damon's like buddy?
It was what's his name
Pedro
from?
Pascal,
Yes.
the Mando.
Oh.
Yeah.
All they needed. Well, there also was
There's what's
shoot,
his name from the
Osborne.
Lighthouse.
What the heck is his name?
What?
From the
Oh,
movie the
Robert or
Osborne.
Willem Dafoe.
yes.
Willem Dafoe. I'm something of a scientist myself. Yeah.
That was the weirdest part of that movie because he came out of the like woodwork and he was like, "Hey, I lived here for 10 years." And you're like, "What the fuck?"
Can we
Like,
can we delist the Lighthouse? I want to go back and watch that again.
I would do
Try.
it. I would watch
Man,
Then
it again.
you have
Willem
to do it,
Willem
though.
Dafoe and
Arpat.
Robert Pattinson. That
Pattinson.
gosh.
Yeah, the Pattinson.
It wasn't bad though. Like
It's
the
a
thing
great
about
movie.
that
No,
movie
it's
is
not
it's
bad.
good.
That's
It's a great
why
movie.
we
Good
never wanted
movie.
to do it.
Yeah.
Gosh, when he's like naked at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Only if you guys recreate it scene by scene together, bed in
right,
front
all
of the light.
Yeah, right in front of your car headlights, naked, right? Because it's the only bright.
Here's the challenge for today. We got to talk about this 95-minute movie faster than 95 minutes.
All right,
I'm
all
not
right,
sure
all
we
right.
can do.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure we
Yeah.
can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 1 month later, two best friends hanging out. They're
Yep.
looking for food. They find a house in the middle of nowhere. They go inside, and it clearly looks like there's two dead people in the bed. They pull it back, and they had
Oh, that's right.
the
Okay.
the plague or whatever. They're all
Yeah.
gross looking. And right when they're like,
Very
oh, they've been
gross.
dead for a while, the woman's like, ah, and kind of jumps them for a second, like Bilbo scares them.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, you just see the house burning. So clearly they were like, fuck this, and just
What-
like burnt the whole thing.
That made sense, right?
It makes sense again. But it's just funny that
Well,
they're like,
but they were
Yeah.
like the lady was like, what I
she
found
like
funny
died
She's
is
right
like,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
is like she was alive, and they were like, oh, sick,
Sick.
burn them.
Burn it. Get that out of here.
But like historically, right
That's
on
what
the
you
money.
do. Yeah. Like, I don't know, burn that bitch.
I just love how
like,
it cut from like she's
It's-
like you find out she's alive still, and it hard
Whoa.
cuts to the whole
Burn.
place on fire,
And
and
they're
they're
just
like
watching it.
peacing out.
Yeah, they're like,
Bye.
gotta go.
Yeah.
So then they like kind of crest a hill or whatever, and they finally see a town. Now here's problem number one: they see it like a town and a castle. There
my
is a
gosh.
tornado of birds, like
It's very obvious.
like Wicked Witch of the West. Do do do.
Yeah.
Like there's a tornado of birds
It needs to be talked about.
happening above it, and
Yeah.
they're just like, should we go get some stuff from town? And he's
They
like,
don't
yeah,
say a
we need
word.
like some food for horses. They don't even mention the birds.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it is weird.
like what.
It is weird.
It red flag. What?
We're talking like thousands and thousands of birds
Like-
in a visible tornado
Yeah.
cone, like
Just like
touchdown.
like all over.
Yeah.
Just coming out from the peak of a castle. If you
Yep.
saw that, you'd go, we're going to skip this town.
Yeah,
We're going to
pass.
move on up. But
There's-
Also, what was
Respectfully.
up with that town? Why was it like a tornado on a hill, like a castle at the top?
I don't
It was
know.
very
That's
like
classic.
Minas Tirith.
That's classic castle design. You gotta have a high point. The old Mott and Bailey. No?
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
anyway. Do
So
your
they-
research next time.
My bad. Here, let
They
me
they
Pull
go into
up.
town.
Castle designs.
The town's having
let me
problems.
pull up the Mott Bailey Castle here.
Stop.
Mott
Oh,
and Bailey's
Ken's-
a bad example.
He's right.
It was not a Mott and Bailey. It was
No,
a
look, the-
traditional keep.
The
Is it
town
showing
is
that
at the
exact
bottom
thing?
of the hill.
Yeah,
Hold on.
that's how you do it.
Well, this it wasn't like that.
And this one
I
was
know.
the
That's
other
what
way.
I was just throwing it out there. I'm trying to sound smart, and
She's
you're
kind of
blowing
seeing
this
some
at
other
me.
castle town designs. So when
We've
they
been
go
reading
into town,
castle
though,
books.
everybody's sick. Everybody looks gross. Everybody's having a bad day. It's
Yeah.
You should
It's
skedaddle
gross.
out of there. Yeah. When they're getting like new horses or something, some stable boy knocks down their shit. His sword pops out, and so he's like, "Oh shit!
yeah.
They saw my sword," and they're trying to get out of there. And that's when guards come up, and they right away are like, "Deserters!" Blah blah blah. Which I don't know if you would immediately think
Yeah.
that.
Like,
why
no,
not
I'm
be
fine.
like-
Why
I
are they so
retired.
convinced of this?
Like maybe we are done fighting, or I don't. There could be a gazillion things,
Oh, we-
couldn't there?
By the way, we skipped the part where they walked, presumably from the Jerusalem area to England.
I
Hard
don't know.
cut. Like,
Like,
Jerusalem.
those
Fast
things
and
are very
walking.
far apart.
Right. Like
Look at
decades
this
apart.
model you
by
made. Or,
horse,
I
right?
guess you didn't make it.
Yeah, there's perfect Mott and Bailey.
I
Beautiful.
saw so many better pictures of a Mott and Bailey
No, this
setup
is
than
great.
this one, and this I felt like was very
I
appropriate.
like how this was made at college.
And
like
it's
someone-
copyright Mandy Barrow. It's good.
But so then, like, guards come and try to catch them. Now, this is when their skills bump up to superhero level again. There are guards with crossbows shooting, ding, ding, ding.
That's
and
right.
Nick Cage has a sword the
He's like
size
he's
of
like a Jedi.
yeah, the size of a pen. He's like, ding, 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 ding.
It's like
in
he's
front
like a
of him.
Jedi
counted.
deflecting
I think he-
blaster
he
bolts.
hits 6, and some of them are like, pop, pop, pop. You know, like I think he deflects one like into a wine cask
does-
at some point. I half expected him to like reach for a little stick a
I
tongue
could
out, get
use a
some wine.
drink like that. Kind
Yeah,
of
there you
shit. Like, God.
And he's like, "All right, guys, let's stop
He's
the
like,
charades here.
"Fine."
I could block these all day. Let's
And
stop."
that is what he's like. He's like, okay, fine. Like, randomly. And you're like, you were doing good blocking, so I'm not quite sure why you gave up.
This is all so dumb. Them going to the town and finding
yeah.
about the plague and blocking
It's
the
just- it
crossbow
takes
shots
forever.
like Jedis, and it's
It
like
takes about 40 minutes to get to the actual
Yeah.
plot of this
stupid.
movie.
This is when it goes off the rails and never gets back on.
From
it's-
here on out.
It's not.
It wasn't like a historical journey.
But this movie isn't atrocious. It's just very. It knows
It's just-
exactly what it is.
It's very vanilla.
It's a C plus. I mean, that's generous, but you know, it's like straight to DVD. It's going on whatever. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Drink when you hear Great Wall quotes.
I could use a drink.
I could use a drink. I could use a birdnado. How often are they seeing? Maybe they saw birdnados
Maybe
above
it's-
every town.
Well,
on the way in.
we get into the town
I mean,
and
we
they
see
say
it later.
the guy. Yeah, there is. It's not the first birdnado in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They get to the keep or the church, and the guy's like, 3 out of 4 people are dead from this plague. So
Yeah, he does
I
say
mean,
that.
these birds are just
Which I'd be like,
gorging
maybe
themselves.
it's something to do with the bird. I don't
Yeah.
know, like,
Actually, but see that happened before the Jedi blocking.
Did it?
And I was
Yeah,
still on
that's like
board
when
at
they
that
walk
point.
out.
He says, "How bad's the plague?" And
Yeah.
I didn't know what the answer was going to be. He goes, "Every 3 out of 4." And you know what that
Which I'd
meant,
be
and I was
like,
like, "Wow, that's
turn
intense."
around.
Holy
like, why
crap.
are we even
Yeah.
entering?
Well, that was the thing. Was like because they shuffle through these tight hallways and stuff, and everybody's sick, and you're getting the heebie-jeebies.
Nick Cage
jeebies
does do the
watching it.
like,
Yeah,
he you know,
Right.
he does the mask.
Burps into his own shirt,
Masks up,
and then
and then I was so on board. Every 3 out of
and the
4,
dude
there's a
says 3
plague,
out of
there's all this
4?
stuff.
I was like,
and he-
get out of there. I
Boom, boom,
don't-
boom, boom, boom. Here come the crossbow guys. It's Jedi time. And then he's just like, all right, so let's stop. You guys want me to kill all you guys, or are we going to stop this
he
charade?
forced-
It's the way he throws his knife down. It's weird.
Let's stop.
And
Right? He
that is
Jedi
the point.
mind
That
tricks
is the
him.
point at which this goes off the tracks and never returns.
Okay,
The Jedi mind trick.
It has to become an action movie after
so this is when you find out
right?
the point of the movie.
Yeah,
they
sorry.
bring them to a special room. I think it's the king or something, right?
I don't know.
And he
Doesn't
says
matter.
everyone's been sick because of a
He's like-
black witch. Yeah, he's all messed
Oh,
up
that's
and
right.
shit.
He's super messed up.
It's
He
what's
looks
his
like
name,
Two-Face
too.
from
Yeah, Batman.
It's what's his name
From
from Lord of
Batman.
the Rings, though. It's
it's
Saruman.
Lee, something Lee.
Yeah.
Lee. What is his?
shit,
Oh,
I'm
he's
never gonna
dead
remember
now,
his
but
name.
he's like incredible.
the world's most like insane
Yeah.
actor because he is. Yeah,
What is his name?
Ben's gonna look it up.
He
I'll
read
look it
all.
up.
He read.
He's the one who's
reads-
like, yeah, I met Token. Like, right?
He also
Didn't he?
read
Christopher
all the
Lee.
audiobooks.
Christopher Lee, that's
Lee.
who it
He
is,
reads
yes.
the audiobooks on what's it called?
Oh,
that
does he?
thing. Yeah, he's really good too.
Like how nobody can think of words tonight.
Christopher Lee, Season of the Witch.
He died not too long ago, I think.
There he
Anyway,
is.
He's the one that if you watch the Lord of the Rings, like the narration and all the stuff, like the behind the scenes, he's the one who went to the director when they did scenes and he was like, someone wouldn't die like that when you stab them. They're gonna do this. And they're like, how do you know? And he's like, from when I stabbed someone. Like it's shit
Right,
like that from
right,
wars, and they're all like,
right.
okay.
yeah, that's
I mean-
like what's it between him, Tolkien, and C.S. Lewis? It's like, hey, we write cool fantasy stuff. Also, we were in 2 world wars, and we have seen atrocious things.
And everyone's like, okay.
yeah.
Wow, this movie has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's not that bad.
I wouldn't say
We've
it's that
seen
bad.
worse.
What's
That's for sure.
downsizing have?
I don't know. I'll look
Like
that up.
one? That is the
Should
worst.
be unranked.
We go talk to Christopher
Unworthy
Lee.
of.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Like, here's the interesting thing: is that like when they get arrested, all their armor is removed, and they're walking around in like the most
Like giant
ridiculous
potato sacks?
dresses. Like, Yeah,
don't
potatoes,
remember
burlap sack dresses. They look like
It's
frickin'
like if you made a
clowns.
nightgown out of a potato sack and they're each
So
in
stupid
one.
looking.
But
Well,
they're
they're
so
prisoners.
big and long.
They're prisoners now.
They were like,
So-
here's your
It
potato
gave me the
sack.
impression this is what was on under their armor, and it was like, where was all that like
Oh,
hiding? It's
gotcha.
so gigantic.
I don't know.
Again, this is because in the Middle Ages, everything was one size fits all, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the 400-pound prisoner has to wear the same getup as the 100-pound prisoner, and you just get the sack.
you just get the sack.
Yeah.
Okay, so they find out everyone's sick because of a black witch. She's causing the plague.
Well,
They-
but at
oh
this
my
point,
God,
you're still
Ben.
like, no, but you say because of a black witch, but it's made very clear that the church is crazy and that no, we
I
all
know.
know it's just a black
Right.
plague. They're
Well, exactly,
Right.
So they
That's
say,
fair.
though, they have to take her somewhere special, do a ritual to destroy her powers, and then all of
Yeah.
the sickness will stop.
Yeah.
they just spent 20 minutes convincing us that the church is crazy.
Well,
and
exactly.
That,
So
that
right
this
away,
lady-
you're like, hey, idiots, try like cleaning up.
But-
Try
yeah,
not
but-
like
But
coughing
the
all
5
over
minutes
each
before
other.
that, they showed that witches were real. So what are we supposed to believe?
We don't
They
know
spent
yet.
20 minutes saying that
Ben.
the church is crazy.
Ben, that's the
Calm
mystery
down.
of the
Yeah,
movie.
That's the movie.
That's the
Look at
point.
And I was there for it. I was
Why
there
are you so mad about it?
because I was confused.
If Bruce Banner is the Hulk, how come he can be mad and also not mad?
Why are his shorts always purple?
Oh my.
How come they always fit?
It doesn't
Okay.
make any sense.
They say no thanks, and they get thrown in jail right away. They're
Yes.
like,
F
we hate the
you.
church. The church is crazy.
Right. This is
Um,
another one of those like, you know what? Not going to do it. If she's
Nope.
I think he says something less eloquent than even
Yeah.
me, but he's like, well, you know, if she actually did something, we'll transport her. But this is all hearsay and speculation, so we're not going to do it. Right? It's
Yeah.
sort of like well, if you got real charges, we'll transport her, but you're just
Yeah.
blowing smoke.
We're not doing like Kookyville. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they get thrown in jail, and across the cell is the girl. Now, this is where she's crawling around all creepy with
Yeah,
hair
she's
in her
ringing.
face.
She's ringing it.
This picture number 3, Ben. And right away, you're like, just, I don't know, try to not be so creepy, first of all. If someone's like, you're a witch, I'm like, no, I'm not. Stop crawling around your cell, like all creepy.
That's what you do when you're in a cell and
Look
you
at
have
her.
long dark hair. This is an unflattering picture. Of
I
a
could not find
otherwise
any
very
pictures of
attractive
her.
woman. I don't know who she is, but this is a bit unflattering.
But that's what I mean. The whole time she's like, "Do you think I'm a witch?" And it's like, I don't know. Try like getting the hair out of your fucking
That's
face
true.
for
Yeah.
once.
As
Like,
she pulls her hair apart, do you
Yeah.
think I'm a
do you
witch?
think it's me? And you're like, yeah, because you're creeping around.
And then they're like,
town."
"No, we don't think so." And she says, "But it could be." And
That
she
is
puts her
how
hair
she
back.
acts the whole
That
time.
is how she is through the
which
whole
we
she
movie.
is.
kind of
We
find
find
out
out
later
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Looks
so
like the
right
girl
away
from
though,
Mortal Engines.
it
what's
does
her
kind
name?
of.
Oh, don't worry, Mortal
Hold on,
Engines is going to
it does
come up.
Nick
What?
immediately is like, "Is that the witch?" And then right away he's like, "That's not what I see." And you're like, "Do
Right.
you like her? You
Right.
saw her for 2 seconds," and he's
Right.
like, "Ooh, ooh," right away. So then he sees her like crying because she's been like whipped and beaten and stuff like that.
That's right. Yep.
And then he says the next morning they'll deliver the girl as long as she has a fair trial, and they get their weapons back. And of course they're like, you know. So they get their weapons back. They're gonna do it. What is this?
Don't worry
What
about
is
that for a
Ben
second.
doing?
Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Trying to remember this part of the movie.
So then they bring them in a room and they're like, it's 6 days travel, blah blah blah, and they're showing them where they
Yeah.
need to
Yeah,
go.
what was
Yep.
this about?
And they're like, you want us to just go like straight through the, I don't know, spooky forest
The
of hell, or
Whispering Woods or whatever
the
it's
fuck
called.
It is.
Yeah. Which
and
they
yeah.
wind up at anyway. So
yeah,
I don't.
which I didn't understand then why they needed a guide.
They give this
I-
map guy a bunch of shit about like mapping it how the crow flies.
Yeah,
And then no, we know the route, but they wind up in that place anyway.
they're like, yeah, it's a Whispering Woods when they get there, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, weren't we gonna go around town or? Anyway, so they're like, well, who would know the way? And then they pop up some guy who's like in the stocks.
He would know.
I
that's
thought he was
right. I
going to
forgot
be
about
like
this guy.
the comedy genius of the movie. He
Nope.
really doesn't show up at all. But anyway, he's in trouble. He says, "Yeah, I'll take you, no problem." So he's in the stocks, and Nick Cage is like, "Okay, we'll take him." He takes his sword, smashes the like.
He cuts a 2-inch diameter iron. He just whips out that sword and cuts
And he's
through
like,
it too.
"You're free." It's like we have a fucking key and lock for this thing. What the
You
like?
Right.
Psychopath.
Like the guy with the key
Now I
was
gotta
like
go.
right behind
The
him,
guy
ready
with the
to
key
let
is
him out.
standing there ready.
That's
and he's
why
like,
they went there.
Right.
So that's how he does things.
Do you remember when they're down in the prison cells and he's looking at the witch lady and he's leaning up against the prison bars and he is illuminated by what I can only imagine is like a
Blacklight.
black light. He's like
He's like
purpley
blue and purple. They
I
do
don't
that in a
remember
lot
that.
of scenes.
like
there's a lot of
clearly
scenes in
somebody
the dark
just off camera
with like a
with
light
some
right
sort
here.
of light like this.
Little-
It's
Yeah,
just,
a little
so
strip.
stupid looking.
Huh.
They're in the forest too later, and they have like blue light. Which I'm like, well, when you're
I
in the
guess
woods
I
in the
didn't
dark, you
notice.
wouldn't have like a black light on you. But
You gotta light it somehow. But I
It's
wanted
weird,
to. You mentioned the guy in the stocks. Like he comes off as comedic relief
I thought it was gonna
Ini-
be like the Jack
initially.
Black
Yes,
of the.
but I want to give them. I want to give them points for not making him comedic relief,
That is kind of true.
because it would just make this movie that much more hokey and sort of like, I don't know. It would be too much.
He just at first was like, "Of course I know the way," and I just want to be
Right.
like, "You're in
He-
the stocks. Like, why are you talking like this?" You'd be like, "Yeah, whatever you want, get me out."
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Anyway,
he's gonna guide them. He knows the way. He's done it like a gazillion times. So the next day or whenever, they're like, "The witch is ready for transport. We gave her a sedative. She should be good to go." And then the monk goes to like put something on her, and she immediately like wakes up, smashes him in the ground, starts choking him. And then Felsen hits her on the head, and then
It's like
he goes,
choking him with a chain.
"Yeah." But then Felsen goes, "Now she's sedated." Like
Right.
they have those kind of lines.
classic Felsen.
Perfect. That
Yeah.
is Felsen.
Felsen?
In a
I'll tell you
nutshell.
what, Ron Perlman is working overtime to try and make this movie pleasant. And he
it's-
might
I
seem
swear
out
his
of-
name was Fulton.
What is this?
This is
what
a
is
Fulton
this? That's a
recovery
Fulton?
cost system. Yeah, from Metal
Okay.
Gear Solid. One of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I didn't know you played that.
Oh, that game's fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway. The Fulton
okay.
recovery system cracks a joke. And then
Everybody drank. Okay, so they get her in the cage. They said that they found her wandering and muttering strange words, which means she must be a witch.
right.
Which I'm like, well, that's tough if you like have a bad day.
Also, everybody's a witch.
yeah,
By
yeah,
that
like
standard.
every person. But so this is when Bayman and Felsen, they're on horses. She's in like this caged wagon thing.
I hate to
whatever.
slow you down again.
No, go for it.
Why are all these cages open air?
I don't know
Wouldn't
what's
you
going
have
on.
this witch in a completely sealed box?
It's
I'm sorry, I was
1355
looking
or
at
whatever.
What Ben was.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but like, if she's a witch,
you're trying to
like-
keep her alive. Let's not freeze her to death on the way there.
yeah, it doesn't.
Anyway,
I don't
it's-
know. It doesn't make sense. Also, I don't think anyone feeds her other than Nick, who
I don't think she ever got food, did she?
one time he
One
gives her
time,
food,
yeah.
which
He's
is like I don't know, were we
and
like
you're
hoping
still
she
like,
would survive the
well,
ride?
when he
or...
feeds her though, I'm still like, she's a good guy. Like I was
Well,
really
Yeah.
convinced that this
We'll,
was,
we'll talk about that.
though she was abnormally strong in the prison cell.
She was
Well, that's
strong there,
true.
but
She'd
also
been
you're
mistreated.
like maybe she wanted to get out. I mean,
She
Yeah.
had some rage.
so at
to
that
get
point
out.
you don't know.
Yeah.
Oh wait, but this is when they're on horses behind her and they're talking, and they go. This is when Nick goes. I've seen girls destroy men without lifting a finger, and he looks over at Felsen, and he's like, "Well, I enjoyed it," like that kind of
yeah,
shit.
well, you
Yeah.
know,
And
it
he's
was
like,
early.
Classic. This is classic duo.
They're
Nice.
loving
Yeah.
life. But that's when they
Nice.
go, "Hey, did you know there was a guy following us?" He's like, and they show a shot. There's a guy like up on a hill, essentially like
Yeah.
hey, like
Right. He's not he's not trying to be
sneaky.
secretive at
He's
all.
like in the light behind, like, and they're like, "Did you know there was a guy?" And he's like, "Yeah, I kind of noticed him."
It was obvious.
Yeah, we can all see him. He's like,
Yeah.
it's weird. So the guy is a 14-year-old, what he looks like, with a bad mustache. That's Kai. He is the main character in Mortal Engines, which I did not realize until I
What?
looked him up. Yes, he's the main guy who helps the girl who looks like the witch in Mortal Engines.
No.
So that's
way.
why, yeah.
What did they do to his hair in Mortal Engines? He has way different
I
hair
think it
in
might
Mortal
be
Engines. Is it straight?
I'll do the research here.
Ben is
Yeah,
our
I'm on it
research
too.
assistant.
Because although
If we want to jump back to some previous research I'd done, so Season of the
Previous research.
Witch
Here we go,
was
guys.
11% by reviewers, but a 30% audience score. This,
Still,
you want to
like-
hear something satisfying? Downsizing, 47% of the tomato meter, but 23% audience score, lower than Season
Yeah.
of the Witch.
I cannot conceive of how that got a 47 from so-called film
How much for
critics.
audience? 20
You
something?
all should be ashamed of yourself.
It should be like a 2. A 2%.
It should be unlisted.
That movie
It is so
sucks.
It's the worst
bad.
movie I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
entire life.
I would agree with that. Yeah. It is.
It on top of that,
Not to mention it's
it's-
like 3 hours long.
and it's very expensive to make, right? So it's like
yes.
anyway.
And it was so, and it had like 3 different plots. It was so fucking boring. Okay.
Yeah, he does have straight hair. No, he does have curly hair, but they greased
It's-
him
You
up
have
for
that?
Mortal
It's more
Engines.
straight. Here, I'll
have a
let's share it
picture?
here.
Okay, but Kai's some young altar boy. He wants to be a knight. So he wanted to follow along and join in and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, they
There he
definitely
is.
straightened his
Whoa.
hair for Mortal
Okay.
Engines.
Yeah.
Wow, he looks totally different.
Wow, he looks a lot different. What year was Mortal Engines?
I don't know. I'll get
2018.
on it.
2018. I got it already. So this is 7 years later. That he went from
that makes-
boy to man
that
with
makes
straight
sense.
hair.
From boy to man.
Boy to man with straight hair.
Altar boy to man.
Yeah.
So in this, though, he's like, I want to come with.
Look
Felson's
how
like,
crazy of
Yeah,
a different
he's,
person
like,
that
little.
is.
but think about like 13 to 20. You know what I mean? Like age
Sure.
wise.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair. That's fair. Oh, he
Um,
grew up all
I
right.
grew up.
that makes it
He
sound
full
grew
grown.
right up.
Damn, he full grown.
That's a man.
Felson kind of fights him or whatever, and because he's kind of like slippery and like
Whoa!
I jumped ahead. Oh my gosh,
God.
I'm so sorry. A
oh,
spoiler.
well, there goes. Let's just quit now.
Aw, yeah.
No, but
anyway.
because Felson's having a hard time sword fighting him,
Fulton?
kind of. It's not Fulton. You're messing me up though. Finally, Nick Cage goes, "Enough. Perhaps you can be of service." And then he smiles all creepily, like through the trees at them. That's
Gosh,
another
it's
great
stupid
line.
He's only one-liners.
Yeah, that's his thing.
I don't know who wrote this movie, but
But it is good. So they stop the first watch. Some random, I don't know. There's like 5 people with them. How many people are with them?
I think
It's
well,
like
we
them.
got Nick, Ron Perlman, the priest, who DeBalzac, which we
Yeah,
haven't really talked
DeBalzac's in
about.
there.
The
yeah,
witch.
the Balzac's in the party.
We've
And
got
then there's
The
Kai, the young boy,
the
and then
Kai.
there's one other guy or
it's
2
the
other guys,
the guy in the stocks,
and then another
and
guy.
There is another guy. I don't know who it is. It's
Which
like
they
the
never, like,
donkey man,
Told us
right?
till
He
he's
leads
like,
the horses.
yeah. So he does the first watch at night, and he's talking about how the witch reminds him of his daughter. And then, like, when the priest guy or whatever talks to him at night, he's kind of like, I don't like this. I'm out. Like, all of a sudden, he's like,
Yeah.
the fact that you're, like, trying a witch, I don't like it. Which, that's my first thing. It's the 1300s. And he's like, I think this woman deserves a fair trial. It is 2022. And guys right now would be like, witch, bitch, like right away. The fact that's the 1300s and they were like, I don't like this. I'm
Look,
going to leave.
extremism
They are
ebb
all-
and flows. We're just at a high point right now. In
Are you
in
kidding me?
1355,
If
they're
right
at a low
now
point.
someone was like, I think I found a witch, everyone would be like, hashtag witch. Like, it would be...
It's like the Salem witch trials right now. It's all right.
Anyway, so this guy is
A
like...
few hundred years from now, we'll be back at the
We'll
bottom.
be back. I think I hope we're at the fucking bottom. Are you? Anyway, this guy is like, I don't like this. I'm out. And the monk is trying, or the priest. He's a priest, right?
Whatever. It's
I don't
Brother
know.
Balzac.
De Balzac or whatever.
Brother de Balsac.
Is like, no, it's fine. And the witch lady she's like, oh, she says something to the one guy. He goes near, and so does the priest. She grabs the priest, she takes the key to the thing, and I think
Which is
like
also
his
in the shape of a
cross?
crucifix.
Are they
No,
both
they're
the
two.
same?
I think they're two separate things
right?
because she stabs him with
She
the crucifix.
stabs a crucifix in his arm, so he's like
and
stuck
then she
there.
unlocks herself.
She
Oh,
so they're
unlocks
two
and
separate things.
skedaddles.
I didn't see it either because all you see is this big, fat, juicy crucifix.
Stabbed
You
in
don't
his arm.
see the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like in the woods, so she runs off. Now here's the thing: they scream. Everybody, of course, wakes up. They're looking for her. They're on their horses. You are in the middle of the fucking woods. It should be real easy to just zoom on over to the left or right. You're gone. Instead, while they're riding and they're like, "Where is she?" She runs in front of them, like whoosh.
she does the front frame ghoul dash right in
Like,
front of the camera.
Yeah, and they're like right there, and so right there, like it's
they're on the path, and she monster dashes
Yeah.
across the path.
like
It's
you're
like just
literally
go the other way.
acres and
Just lay
gazillion miles
down.
of forest. Yeah, they would never find you.
They don't have
Like,
dogs. They don't have, like
I don't
nobody's
know.
a tracker.
So they get to a village. They think she went there. And when they get in there, they don't see anyone, but keeps having like spooky noises. Like someone's like "Arr!" for a door, and they like throw
don't
dead
remember
bodies
this.
out. And then it's like someone runs across the main part, and like it's when they make like
Oh, yeah,
music
yeah,
with like
yep,
regular
yep.
sounds. It's like that's happening. So then
Somebody throws a body out of a door.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
like
it's
dead
very
body.
weird.
It's like
And
another like plague.
It's like rag dolls on the
it's,
cart.
It's weird, and it's I don't know. And then they're like, "Oh, I think I saw her go in the trenches." Which right away I was like, "Why the fuck are there trenches?"
Why are there trenches?
It's
I
the
don't
poop
understand.
trenches. That's where you drop a load.
Well, they go in
But
the
they
trenches.
were, like-
There's
Like-
Brother de Balzac.
They were like World War II trenches.
Yeah, there's
And-
the ball
Yeah.
sack.
On the
and
left
Nick
there.
and Fulton.
And they go in the trenches and they're like, "It's a grave," which the grave was like 4 people in a puddle. So I didn't understand that.
Well, hold on. Now I'm remembering what happened. The
go for it.
trenches are 7 feet tall,
Mhm.
completely vertical walls, and like a maze.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying.
This
It
is
was
why I was
Now
like,
I remember.
why was
Now
the
I
town?
remember.
Why was this a thing?
And then these trenches open into a big, like, stadium with a pool of bodies in it. For
With
lack
the
of a
pool
better,
of bodies was that
it's
someone
very
was
shallow.
Like, it's
It's
like
like
this
10
deep,
bodies. As far
And-
as mass
yeah.
graves go,
and
meh,
like, I guess
not
if
impressive.
if you're starting the pile, I mean, it's got to start somewhere.
Right.
It's-
Yikes. But anyway, sorry. Now I remember.
And they're all holding, they're holding the light. Which, okay, the one thing I like about this movie is when they have a what
torch.
the hell is it called? Torch. Thank you. Jeez, words are hard tonight. When they have a torch, they can't fucking see. Which
Yes.
is what it would be like in real life.
If you
can't
hold it
see
in
if
front of
the
your
light-
dumbass face,
Yeah.
you can't see
can't see.
anything.
Which I hate in movies when they're like, look around. You're like, you couldn't
Yeah.
see around. If you have a light next to you.
Throw it on
in
the
this
floor.
one, they legit are like, I don't know, and they are having
Yeah.
trouble.
Well, they hold it right in front of their eyes
Well,
too,
that's
instead of up
stupid.
above their head,
Yeah.
so that their
Yeah.
faces are illuminated and they can't see a damn thing.
Which is,
Yeah.
but the one guy who was like, I don't like this, starts hearing what he thinks is his daughter. And so he's like running after her. And she's like, Dad, I'm over here, or whatever. And he's like looking for her. And as he's running, Kai, the kid, has his sword out. And he turns around because he's all scared. And he stabs the guy. And so then
that's
he's
who that guy
freaking out.
was. He
Yeah,
was like
so
the
then he's, like-
sheriff or something,
He's
wasn't
some-
he?
yeah, I
He was
don't-
the guy
I
who
don't
said
know.
3 out of 4 in the beginning, and he had
Is
said
he?
he's
And
lost
he's
a
a
wife
good
and a
dude.
daughter, 2 daughters.
Yeah,
to this.
since
Yeah.
they met him, he was like, he's pretty good. He wants to help. He
Right,
doesn't.
he's like a
he's
good
not
guy.
totally. He's not like on a crusade to kill this girl, right? He's sort
Yeah.
of
And well, right before that, he was the one who said, "No, I'm going to let her out."
Yeah, he's the one who
So he
didn't
was
like
a
it.
cool dude, and then
He was a good guy, so he got stabbed. Kai's freaking out because
Foreshadowing.
it was an accident, though. Like, he didn't mean to hurt the guy. And then you see the girl. She's, like, standing right behind them, which is, like, yikes. Like, she's, like, up against the side of the thing.
But like obviously,
she keeps saying, "I didn't want the priest to touch me again." So she keeps acting like the church is like hurting
but
her.
clearly somebody was magically confusing that nice
Oh yeah,
guy.
he was hearing like his daughter, and he was, I don't know what her name
Yes.
was. I don't know.
But
he's like, Tiffany? Obviously it's not Tiffany.
we're at a point where it's clear that there is magic involved.
There's something going on.
There's
right?
somebody's a witch. I don't know who it is, but somebody's a witch.
I love how right away I'm finding that Ben, if it was the 1300s and Ben's alive,
That's a witch.
fucking witch. Right away. That looks like a fucking
She's
witch
doing
to me.
fucking spells.
Like,
Yeah.
I know, but you would be the first to be yelling witch in a crowd.
If
Like,
somebody's casting magical spells against me,
but it sounds like if I tripped you,
she's a dirty witch.
you would, exactly. There we go. You would be yelling, "She's a dirty
Why would
witch."
you be tripping me if you weren't a witch?
Flat
Doesn't make any
tire,
sense.
witch.
Witch.
So
Late
I would
for
be
work?
dead.
Flat wagon wheel?
immediately.
Yeah.
I would be dead, and Ben would be yelling, "My
Yeah.
wife was a witch."
She was
So-
a witch. Don't worry about it. Nobody
Okay.
mourn her. She was a witch.
So they get the witch back, but the one guy's dead. So do they bury him? I don't know.
Nobody
I
even
don't-
knows
I don't
his
know.
name.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They
I
probably
didn't know
threw
that.
him in the
he
pit.
had a name.
I mean,
He-
they're in the dead pit.
I think they
just
bury
like
him.
rolled him in.
I think they do bury
Just
him.
kind of like 5
Into the
feet
mass
over.
Literally,
grave.
he was like 3 feet from it.
He
You could have
was
just
right
left
there.
him.
You could
And
be like,
He
it's
just
the
like
pit.
he did like it was
He's the
almost
bottom layer of the
like
pit.
Ex Machina when the robot lady just walks into the dude with a knife. Spoiler. It was almost like that. He just walks himself
Yeah,
onto
he
the
does.
sword.
He does
turns
kind of
and-
like
He just is like
because he
"Shh."
thinks Kai is his daughter, and he's like walking towards her.
Yeah.
So clearly he's like hearing voices and all that.
Anyway,
Good
So then
movie, by the way.
they
Ex
keep-
Machina. Sorry, I spoiled
I
it.
still
is-
haven't seen it. I need
That
to.
is
I'm,
a good one.
I'm
Well,
too
Ben
afraid
spoiled it.
to watch it. It's
Oh, it's
too,
pretty creepy.
It's very
Yeah.
good, very creepy,
Yeah.
but really good. So they keep going on their journey. They got the witch. Now next, they have to cross a bridge.
Oh,
Oh, gosh,
God.
okay.
Can we speed through this? This is so stupid.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
And
This
it's like 10
movie
minutes
is
long.
95 minutes long, and this bridge scene
25
is like
minutes are the
15
bridge.
minutes of that
Yeah.
95 minutes.
Yeah,
I-
let's just get through
it's-
it.
We could
I'm
just
not
skip
gonna
it.
interrupt.
This
we
is
could
Yeah.
this
no,
is
we
a
skip it completely.
no.
It's insane.
We have to know what happens though. There's a creepy
I'm just gonna wait till
bridge.
you're done.
Yeah,
Okay,
shut up.
so Nick first goes across with his horse, and then he's like, "I'm gonna read what I wrote, which is, whoa, bitch, be careful." And then
Fair.
the twine on the bridge is like
Yeah.
it's slow. You can see it coming across,
Yeah.
and they're like, "It's fine. I got across now. Like, do all the horses first, and then we'll take her."
This
They're-
is like 15
They're
fucking minutes.
holding
of
onto
this.
a rope behind it to try like kind of lower it onto the bridge, and there's like pieces missing. At one point, Kai like completely falls off, and this is when
It's the one set they actually built.
this is when the witch grabs him with one arm, and then she like picks him
Oh,
up,
she just
straight up is like,
milk
"Hey
jugs
yo,"
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
and she picks him up, and that's when you're like, "Well, that's a fucking
Obviously,
something.
that's
That's a
a
witch,
witch.
Up
right?"
here.
Like
Now she
something's
grabs
going on.
him with 2 fingers and lifts his
whole body.
whole body, and just places him back on the bridge. She's
so-
like, and then she like winks at him. I got
Yeah,
you.
like hey guys,
Don't worry,
everyone's
babe. I
falling
got you.
off. They almost don't make it. They barely.
Remember,
At
do you
one
remember when
point-
she smiles at DeBalzac when she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so scared of
Does
him,"
she?
and everybody else except DeBalzac turns away, and she goes,
Well, that's where you're like, is she? But also,
Yeah.
if you weren't a witch, why would you be like, I'm just kind of like trying to see what I can
Well,
get away? I
Gotcha.
don't know.
It
but-
does. It keeps
It
up
does
the
good at that,
mystery.
though.
It keeps up the mystery of, is she a witch? Is this just a bunch of horse shit from the church? And how does that relate to a guy who's not going to help the church, but he will help God? Right. So
right?
it's all
They do
there.
pretty good at that.
It's just not a great movie.
No, but they barely get across, and the whole bridge
It's
snaps
whatever.
and goes
Yeah,
out.
it's stupid. Takes 15
Now,
minutes.
This is what it does. It takes a long time.
They're like
And also,
rocking it back and forth at the end, despite it being pulled by like 4 horses.
Ballsack
And-
or whatever his name is also holds on to the rope with
Oh
like
yeah, he gets
nothing else.
roasted.
And the rope is just like his
It's
hands are
smoking
just
on that tree, and his
Yeah.
hands are just being
his
ripped
hands are
to
just
shreds.
they're shreds. So he's done so.
Yeah.
He's alive, but I mean,
I
okay,
suppose.
at this point when you're watching though, did you think she was a witch? What was your
Yeah.
okay, Ben?
I thought she was a witch. Of course, when she did the
I think when she did the
two-finger
young
pinch,
boy,
Yeah, the grab.
finger pinch.
The grab
I was like,
the
witch.
sign. That was the high
Witch.
sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to check in. Just
I
wanted to
thought
see.
she was a witch as soon as she did the wink at the ballsack.
Well, I didn't know if she was just like, "Hey, douche." Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but even
Like-
even Nick Cage's sympathy for her.
Drink when someone says
he-
ballsack.
I'm
It's
in.
interesting because even Nick Cage's sympathy for her leads you to believe that she's a witch, right?
Mhm.
Because she
Well,
tricks the
he
guy that just
even-
got impaled into
Right.
thinking
Yeah.
it's his daughter.
Mhm.
So she could fool anybody.
Well-
At this point, it feels like we're in her hands.
Feels like something's going on
Yeah.
to you. Are you
Drink
okay?
when somebody says
Yeah.
ball sack. Okay.
So, and then I just yell it. So
Mhm.
now they're in that like whispering woods or what the
Yeah, they wind up
foggy-
there anyway.
Which I don't. Why? What's the point of the guide then? I don't. He also led him across that crazy bridge and.
Wait,
shit.
was the guide the dude that got impaled? No, it's the funny man.
No,
it's
Egglemar.
It's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Egglemar.
Yeah.
Egghead.
So it's super foggy. They kind of like stop for a little bit because of the fog.
It's because they're in the witch woods.
And they're all kind of fighting. They're getting mad at each other. All that stuff. And then this is when she talks to Nick, to Bayman, and she's like, "Do you think I'm a witch?" And she's like, "Poof, poof," with the fire that he's holding. I want to be like, "Well, now I do."
yeah,
like
duh.
you're like,
That's right.
poof, poof.
I forgot
Like, why are
about
you
that.
showing me this shit? Like,
Yeah, she turns his torch on and off.
yeah,
like,
which is
multiple
like this is
Well,
I'm
get
ho-
the- that's what I'm
okay.
saying. You got to have covers on the cage. You can't
Like
have an open
something.
witch cage.
and he keeps having creepy dreams and stuff about when he killed that one woman by
Yeah,
accident.
he just keeps impaling.
So he
her
keeps
over and
having
over.
trouble with that. So then he wakes up, and the guide, the Jack Black of the crew,
Engelmar?
is sure.
I said Engelmar equals Gollum, and I'm not sure why I said that, but
That's
I
not
He's,
true.
wrote
well, he
There's
is
no
kind of freaking
Gollum
out.
here.
He has a crossbow.
because he was a creepy guide. He was an untrustworthy guide.
He did seem a little iffy.
Yeah.
He has a crossbow, and he's like, "Let's just kill the witch right now. Like
Yeah.
she's obviously trouble,
Right, let's just kill
and
her.
let's just
Makes
kill her."
sense.
And of course, everyone's like, "Well, then that won't stop the curse. You have to do it like the right way." Blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
they're
blah,
trying
blah.
to fix the plague bullshit.
Yeah. And so then she's like, "Whoo!" out of the cage, and she's like,
Beautiful.
"Oh, did you hear that wolf?" Yeah, that was horrible. Sorry, that was actually I feel
That's
like a
good.
bad wolf impression. But she's like, "Oh, do you hear that wolf?" And all of a sudden, a bunch of CG wolves come over the hill.
Just the
And he-
shittiest looking
And
CG
by CG wolves,
you've
I
ever
mean like
seen.
if you CG'd a husky, they're
They
very
were
tiny.
way
Well,
too
and-
small.
And they do this thing. It's a husky,
yeah.
and then
And
they
then they,
CG
like-
it to like monster face it. They
You know
like
when you seal like
They
a
get
Ziploc
all-
bag, like
Yeah.
when you have the
do
vacuum
that
and
with
they
a
go
dog's face.
If you did it with a dog's face, and
If you did extensive Hollywood
right.
wolves of Las
where
Vegas,
you know when they're possessed because it's a wolf
Yeah.
and it's like, and you're like, oh no, it's a
I put
zombie wolf. And I'm
Tiny
like,
ass CG wolves turn
And they
into
s-
witch wolves.
Yeah.
That's
and
my
then they
note.
kill like 20 of them.
Like
and That's it.
everyone.
Tiny ass.
practically.
It's over.
I've seen a wolf. Wolves are not
They're fucking
husky
big, first
sized.
of all.
They're
No, they're
freaking
not.
Fucking
gigantic.
big, half a bear. They are giant.
They are
Yeah.
very big.
They're
These
big,
were like dogs.
and they're like full on attacking. Of course, like Bayman and Felsen are like, "Oh my sword!" They're like kebabbing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like nonstop.
He just the wolves jump and they just kind of like turn and the sword is there, right? And the,
also
the dog
is
just
like,
goes like a kebab.
Yeah.
The dog just goes onto
Yes.
the sword, and then he turns and the dog goes off of the sword, and it's like, ugh. Like
Mhm.
I know they're supposed to be monsters, but I don't like.
I don't. I
this.
still don't like it. I'm still sad.
And that's it. That's the last
it.
note I took. Tiny
And
ass CG wolves.
That's fair.
So that happens. The guide is killed in this. He's full on like mangled and killed by all of them.
Yes.
So
And they
So
leave
they're like-
him.
Angle mark.
Yeah.
He sort of falls behind. It was the guy that
Yeah.
was in the stocks.
mhm.
He kind of falls behind. He gets eaten alive.
Yeah,
Very
they're,
cool.
like,
Very
done
The
good.
so.
comic relief who was ignored until
And he
now.
was
Yeah,
not
which is
comic
weird.
relief. Yeah.
Yeah. And then soon Nick is trying to kill the witch. So he is like, let's just she's already killed whatever.
Yeah,
3
they've lost
2 people or whatever.
3.
Maybe they lost more during the wolf attack. The priest stops him. And he's like, she needs a fair trial and all this shit. Where you're like, what the fuck?
What?
You weren't.
Where was
did
this?
you come
No,
from?
it was that if she truly is the cause of the plague,
Is
then
that
we
what it
need to
is?
bring her to the monks to dispel the.
But he seemed more fair trial-ish. Like he seemed more.
No,
I don't know.
he didn't care about fair trial. His
Okay.
thing was that if she's really doing the plague, we got to bring her to the monks to undo the spell.
Yeah.
That was his big thing.
Yeah.
But then Nick is like, well, we don't have a guide. And they're like, look to your right. And there's
There it
another
is.
birdnado above a castle,
Yeah.
which, once again,
They don't
red
need a guy. They're already there.
flag. But we're
Yeah.
already there.
Damn, bitch. No, but you skipped over when the priest is like, you can't kill her. We got to bring her there. And then, like, Nick's like,
skipped-
F
we were
you, and
just
throws him out of the
talking
way
about
and turns
this.
around to stab the witch. And guess who's standing there? Fulton.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. He is
Yeah,
like
he's
like,
fair
nah, dog.
trial.
Anytime it's going to get crazy, Fulton's like, nah, bitch. Nah.
Well, that's why
He
I
is very,
like
like-
Ron Perlman in this. Even though he
I
feels
do.
sort of like he's in a different movie, I want to see that movie.
I do like
rather
him.
than
He
this
seems
one.
reasonable.
right.
Yeah, he's,
He's
sort of
really like out of.
this is
universe
pretty fucked
here.
up, dog.
Well, he kind of
but-
gives him that look of like, remember when we killed all those people? Let's not do that again.
Right.
Like it's that look of
Right.
like, don't be a psychopath
I-
again. Like
I-
let's.
I felt like at any moment he was going to turn into Hellboy.
I love
he's-
him as Hellboy.
Yeah.
I liked those
Right?
movies.
What a perfect casting.
Yeah,
Well, like
I never
no.
saw the new one with what's his name from Stranger Things, but I heard it sucked. We should watch
I
that.
didn't watch that either. I was like, I don't want it.
I don't need a new Hellboy.
I don't need a new Hellboy. Yeah, let's watch
I'll
that.
watch the
All
old
right.
one.
why are they redoing
queue it up.
every movie? Like
That's-
I'm
I
so
mean, it's-
sick of this.
That it came and died already. Like it was
like
a
I'm.
anyway.
They're
The
bored
new
to
one
play.
is hot garbage.
Oh,
well,
sorry, I
add it
clicked
to
it
the
too.
list.
Oh.
I watched a YouTube clip of it. I think it's beneath us, to be honest. There was a scene where he fights giants, and it
Oh,
is just
no.
like it's
Uh,
it's David,
Original
whatever his
2
name.
were
It's David
great.
Harbour on a green screen set, just
When they were
swinging
just
a
like
sword,
Wolverine. Oh,
right? Like, hey,
God,
just
I
get
know.
out there, David, and swing the sword.
Not like this.
Yeah,
Jeez.
and
The
we'll
best-
make the Giants be where they need to be, right?
That sucks.
Anyway,
The best series of YouTube videos is watching Adam Savage machine a replica of Hellboy's revolver from
Yes.
the original
Oh.
movies.
yeah.
Watch that whole series
Adam
of him
Savage
making
stuff is
that
good.
replica. Man, that is some good content
Cool.
right there.
It's
We have a
cool.
glass from Avid.
That's my glass
Savage.
tonight.
Savage.
Brain Candy Live. I went and
Yeah,
watched
you
Adam
saw that.
Savage and
Savage.
Avid Savage.
what's his
Savage.
face? What's the other guy?
Mr. Savage.
It was the last.
Hello, Mr. Savage.
It was the last time Liv and I were able to do something fun together as father and daughter.
Oh my god.
Now we're
God
only
help
All right,
us.
where are
odds
we
with
at?
each
Where
other.
are we at? We
Okay.
got the witch to the
They
castle.
get to the castle
the
they need to be.
monastery or whatever.
They knock
it
on the
is.
door.
Nobody's
Nobody
home.
answers.
Yeah.
Kai sneaks in, opens the door, unlocks it. They're like, Ballsack, everybody drink, is like, I bet they're in the chapel. It's 4 p.m. Like that kind of shit, which you're like, what do you know their routine?
I
He's
need
like,
to fill my wine glass back up.
oh. I was like, do you need a break? You're like moving the whole bag.
The set goes with him. Oh man, how good would that be if
If
it
it
was
was, like,
attached to the back of his
hooked on
chair? And he could just pivot.
For next time.
But the
for next
camera
time.
would have to also be like
That's
GoPro,
fine.
so you
just
could
build
like.
a rig, right? It's a chair he has to sit in. That
Oh no, I've destroyed the illusion.
We're in the basement.
Ah!
But Balzac is like, they must be in the chapel, and he goes looking, and then they're like, everybody's fucking dead.
I don't know
like,
what to
Yeah.
do.
everybody's dead.
everybody's
all the monks,
dead.
all the priests.
In...
Not only are they dead, they are like they tied themselves to like desks and then died that way too.
Oh,
Because
is
they were
that
like
what it
they were copying the book down.
I knew
to
No,
that.
defeat
well, there was a
the-
whole different set of dead monks. There was
Right.
multiple
That's
dead monks.
true.
There was diseased dead monks.
What are you doing?
This is completely
The way you did
evaporating.
this.
He's gonna like rip it down and like a
I'm gonna,
light thing is gonna kill
I don't know what to do.
I'm gonna, like,
This
pee
is
my
all falling
pants
apart.
and, like,
I was gonna say all the monks were like it's classic bad movie sign when everybody
Yeah.
dead in the room is dead like at their day job. Right?
Yes, that's
Like,
true.
You know, if you have the Black
Yeah.
Plague, you went into work and died at your workstation. Like, but you're right.
Well,
there are a few
there-
that are tied because they're
They are
copying
tied.
the book
Yes,
of
that is in a
Solomon.
different part. But no, there is one who's like, for a second. And
Is
right
he?
away, Balzac is like,
No.
first of all, he runs to him and he's
Drink.
like touching the guy left and right. To the
Right,
point
like,
that I want to
let
be
me
like,
get some hands on that plague.
like, let me massage your scalp while you're
I'll
dying.
exfoliate those
Stop touching
blisters.
everyone who's like blistering and pussing and like,
Yeah.
stop.
Damn dog, stop
Um,
pussing.
And so that's when Nick
awesome.
goes, "Can you perform the ritual?" And because
Like,
there's like one book.
duh.
Like, duh. That's why it came, isn't it? Like, yeah. Okay, and then Balzac starts throwing holy water everywhere, and he starts reading a book. Hold on. I
The
feel
Book
like
of
I jumped
Solomon.
ahead. I jumped ahead.
Did we?
Whoa, what did we skip?
You've got like 20 minutes.
There
We
is a
gotta wrap
heart to
this
heart
up.
down in the basement.
Oh, okay. So he points to the witch and he starts doing that and stuff. And that's when she starts freaking out in her
Yes.
cage. And
Yeah.
she's going crazy.
It's time. I can finally
And right
share
away
this.
she starts confessing the truth, which you're like, okay, that's crazy.
Don't jump
I
the
didn't think that.
gun.
Hold on.
Oh,
Ben. You can't
Nobody
share
saw.
that yet. Nobody saw. Where the hell was I?
everybody
Okay,
saw.
so she starts like her hands are lighting on fire and all the bars and
yeah,
everything
she's
is going
melting the
insane.
bars she's in. Yeah.
She's not a witch.
And then she turns into like a fucking demon.
she never was a witch.
And like
She's a
flies
demon,
away.
you dummies.
It starts getting windy out. It's going crazy. She gets the nails, the demon nails that apparently you need. All the birds are freaking out. She flies. So she flies away
Because the
like, as a
birds are
demon.
like bats. They were birds in
They
disguise.
are like bats. But
that
this
what it
is
was?
when
Oh.
this is when Nick goes, "We're gonna need more holy water," and so that's when you know shit's getting
That's
real
how you know.
right now. Okay, can we take a mini break so I can go to the bathroom though?
Yeah. Boy, you really
Sure.
took us to the climax
took
here.
us-
Right, here we are, right
Yeah.
at
And
the
now I need a
precipice.
break.
I've got like
Because be-
videos queued up. It's-
Before we get into the craziness, I need to go to the bathroom.
That's
be
true,
quick
that's
about
fair.
it.
He said, "Be quick
I'll
about
go
it."
as well.
I take my scene with me.
Just yeah, right.
Do it.
My scene. It's gonna be me and the gang. What up, gang? Hello. Actually, the only thing that's been on my mind lately is my D&D campaign that I'm gonna be running soon. So if anybody out there's run a D&D campaign and has some advice as a DM, let me know. But we'll see how it goes. I don't know. This movie was fun to talk about, but it was not fun to watch. It was bad. I felt like it just never played D&D. I hadn't. I shouldn't say that. So I played Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in high school. Me and my friends were big into the Wheel of Time, and we were running AD&D, but we were running it in a custom like world of the Wheel of Time, and I don't know that we ever actually followed any like you can play any role playing, you just make stuff up, like you go crazy, you do whatever you want. But I don't feel like we were actually really following the rules very well. Yeah, so this is gonna be my first time DMing a big campaign, and so I'm trying to sort of like set the scene, and I wanna do a good job. So we'll see how it goes.
Doing a good job's for suckers.
That's always the one thing, Ken, I wish we would have gotten to
Yeah.
play a role-playing game together.
Yep.
And I
agree.
so much so that I've almost been like, let's just run one online or something.
Be cool.
But
I'd be
I
down
don't
for
know that
that.
we could ever get the commitment from the rest of the gang.
Yeah, and it's not worth doing without a gang, right?
Everybody
So,
would need to be in.
Yeah.
I'll run a game if everybody's in on it.
Speaking of which, it is. I don't know how many people are listening. It is the last day to get Gloomhaven for free on Epic Games. Right now.
Oh my god, good thing you said that.
I meant to say it whenever.
Can you cross-play Epic with Steam?
I don't see why.
Gosh, I hope.
Would it?
I would think.
I would
so.
hope so.
Right?
I would hope so.
I didn't think about that.
I
But
don't know.
if you've got
Yeah, because
four-
you just type the code in. You just type
Right.
you don't just type a code in. You don't have to use friends list or anything like that.
I don't.
You type the
if I-
game code in.
I don't know if
you?
it's that simple. I don't know. But if you've got 4 people
I mean,
who
if it's
don't,
free though, like you might as well download
Everybody
it. and
get it
try.
on Epic then. Yeah, I
it's
guess.
worth $40. I mean, yeah,
might as
just go
well.
get it anyway. All right,
Okay, I'm sorry. So they're
She's
gonna need more holy
melting.
water.
she's melting the cage.
Right. Turning
Quit.
into a demon. The
Need
birds are
more
turning
holy
into bats.
water. Nick's wig
Okay.
is still attached pretty well. It
Yeah.
didn't shift.
So this is when Felson, I almost said Fellman,
Fulton.
said, he's like,
Fulton.
"Are we gonna defeat the demon or save the girl?" And Nick is like, "Both."
Both.
Which right away I was like, "Is the girl a girl?" Like I wasn't.
Yeah, well,
Right,
it,
like,
it was
I didn't-
Like,
is there-
what the
unclear.
hell are you talking
Is
about?
there even a girl? Like nobody at that. I
Right.
feel like at that point I had
That's-
no idea what she turned into a giant winged demon. Like maybe she never was. I
Yeah,
don't.
Well,
How
that's
am I
when the
supposed to
demon
know?
just
We didn't see
I
her
don't know.
before.
And that's what's kind of
don't know.
weird about, like, is she a witch or is she not a witch? Does it matter? Like,
Right.
you know, she's got a demon in her, so I don't
I
think
didn't
it's really
understand.
relevant.
Well, and you say demon in her, which makes sense now after
In the
that
movie,
line
that's
was
but I
said.
was
But
like,
at
clear.
the
she's
time,
a
I was like,
demon
That's
I didn't
not
know there
clear.
was. I
Yeah.
thought it was a demon disguised as a girl.
as a girl.
Right. But
I didn't. Yeah.
is a demon disguised as a girl any different than a witch? Probably not,
Oh.
right?
Yeah. Right.
You got to
know,
read a different page from the book.
Right. That's
page
actually
42
true.
instead
That
of
is
page
totally
45.
true.
That
Yep,
is
you're
true.
right.
We got to read the right
Good
page.
point.
Is this
Good
a witch
point.
exorcism or is this a
shit,
demon
this is
exorcism?
page
No.
That maybe
48.
that was
Oh
the problem
shit!
the
The
whole
witch page
time.
isn't working. I know what this is.
Demon page.
Demon page, baby, and that happens. That is a.
That's true.
I am a direct reenactment.
That's the actual
Of the movie.
resolution of this film. A page flip.
Oh, wait. So
It
Kai,
just gets crazy. I can't wait.
Kai
It's gonna
the
get
kid
crazy.
wants to battle.
With
Nick
who?
knights him real quick.
Oh, that's right.
And
was
this is
dumb.
when
Oh my
I
gosh,
searched Kai
this when
and
he-
figured out that he was from Mortal Engines. So this is when I went,
I can't
oh
believe
my
that's the same
gosh.
kid.
So, okay, so they're going after the witch. They go up in where a bunch of, they think monks are going to be. There's a bunch
That-
of gross monks dead, tied to their desks. This is what I was talking
They
about.
were making new copies of the Book of Solomon.
Yeah, they were trying to
Yes.
quickly recopy it.
This is when it's all pieced together.
This is when
And
the weather
finally-
outside is getting fucking wild. Birdnado to the, it's
Going
a
wild.
category F5.
But they
Like,
have
it is
finally
crazy.
pieced together the fact that the demon is trying to destroy all copies of the Book of
Yes.
Solomon. These monks who were making new copies of it, he wanted to get
Yes.
there to destroy the last copy.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is when
And
they realized, yeah, they were like, she meant for us to bring her here.
and
Like,
the reason the other people got killed was because they were trying to set her free. So
Right.
the couple
Yeah.
friendly guys who wanted to let her go, she killed on purpose,
Yeah.
which is kind of ridiculous because
just like, I don't know. I feel like
I don't know, kill these guys and take a horse and
I
ride
guess a
here,
Couldn't you
demon
just
doesn't
walked
care.
there? Yeah,
Or also,
exactly.
you
or
know-
followed them secretly.
or turn
Wouldn't
into
it
the
been better
winged
to get
demon that
free?
you are and
Wouldn't
fly
it be
there?
better to be free and just be the girl and walk into town and be like, I'm a
Right.
girl, and then like trick
Right.
them that way?
I'd
Well,
like to
let's not
become
think too
a-
hard about it.
Yeah.
So it's an F4 outside. They're like the
Right now, you
tornadoes
need to
getting
get to safety.
tornadoes getting
We're
crazy.
in the basement.
Okay, so
See?
then the
Kids are
demon. We
I
know because
want-
Ben's
I want
set
the
is
moving
out of
set.
control.
I want. So
I'll attach
bad.
it to the chair next time.
But the moving set, you have to be able to. It has to have a first depth, right, where it
Yeah.
looks legit, and then you have to have a quick cut to where it zooms out, and we see the chair, we see the mic, we see the back moving with you.
Moving
Right?
with as he turns. So this is when you find out all that. Like, she meant to go there, the demon took over the girl. Now the demon, Ben, you can share, is a giant dragon. Which looks like a boss from a video game.
Yes,
I would
this
say.
is a mortal. He looks
In fact,
okay
this picture looks
in
okay.
this picture.
It does not look this good in the movie.
Correct.
I would say.
Right.
In the movie, you would be like, "Oh shit, look at this boss!" Like for
Yeah,
a
it's
video
pretty
game,
shitty
like it's
looking.
pretty shitty.
Yeah.
And also, he has like a weird accent going on. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
it's just
what.
like a almost like a southern drawl or something. Like it's very bizarre.
I wrote that down too. I was like, Southern. I wasn't sure. I don't know, it's very
y'all be
weird.
up in my monastery. Like
It's like that.
it's
It is.
weird. It is.
So you see something go into one of the dead monks, okay, like in their mouth or
Oh,
some
here we
shit.
go. My
Now-
favorite part.
Oh, that's
all
right.
All
That's
of the copies
right.
light on
I'm
fire.
so excited
So
about this.
The demon is burning all the copies, and you're kind of like, oh shit, we just got like the one book. And this is when the Balzac or whatever starts reading his copy, and this is when zombie monks start attacking. They are climbing the walls. They are on the ceiling and dropping down
forgot
like
about this.
agents.
This
And
is
they're
so
like
stupid.
"Ka-thung," when they drop down and then start fighting.
Yes.
Do you have a clip?
Yes.
That
Here
is
we
a
go.
clip. Yes, look
This
at
is-
them. They're like creeping.
The problem.
Where do they like drop? Here they're
Right here,
dropping in.
They're dropping in. I don't know
Look
why
at
they
how
climb up.
Look at
Look at
this.
this.
What's-
Ah.
This is
What-
a like blockbuster movie.
And
What
that's
blew
when
my mind-
Look at
Felsen
this.
is like, you gotta cut off their head, like right away.
All of the monks go directly up the walls and then drop down, which
Yeah, I
means
don't know
everybody down
why.
there, they're just waiting up there to like
Waiting.
slam home runs into these bodies that fall down on them.
Why would they come out of the woodwork? Like, come from different. Why do they crawl to the ceiling?
I don't
Also,
know.
when they first looked, I would say there's 10 max.
There's a lot now.
There's probably 50 now. They are
Yeah, right.
stop. These monks are dropping like actual flies. Like they are
Yes.
just nonstop. So yeah, they're dropping. They say you have to cut off their heads. They're going to town on cutting off monk heads of zombie monks,
Yeah.
which is weird. So then, at one point, Felsen gets stabbed in the back, and Nick
Does
is
he?
kind of freaking out. Yeah, he gets stabbed by a monk. He kills the monk though.
No, it's a nasty big
It's a big
bladed
stab,
stab
though.
in the back.
Oof.
And then let's see, the kid gets like taken into the
Kai.
bookcase, which is weird. Yeah. The demon came down and just snapped Balzac's head, like just
Yes.
his neck. He's
I
just
appreciated
like, we're
that.
done, which was like, well, yeah.
Also, now that Balzac is dead, good time to point out the whole the witch, the girl saying, "Don't let him touch me again."
Makes sense.
Doesn't make sense.
I feel like it makes sense because he's like a priest, so maybe like there was some sort of like
Yeah, but there's
the
no.
demon got extra hurt. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess there was no resolution to like.
Yeah.
But then again, she was making shit up the whole time.
Right. I
Right,
don't know if
so-
she was making it
I
up
think
or
she
if it
was
was
just
like 'cause
trying to
he's
make him,
holy,
like,
and so
You know, like
Yeah,
a
I get
creep.
it. I get it. It plays
Yeah.
to a 2011 crowd, right?
I was gonna say it plays quite
Right?
well to a
Right.
Okay, so shit's going down. There isn't many people left. We have Kai, we have Felsen, and Bayman. And I think that's it, right?
Baymax?
Baymax,
Baymax.
Fulton, and Mortal Engines. Yes.
So Felsen gives the look of like free drinks to whoever kills the demon kind of shit.
Oh,
He
yeah.
headbutts him twice.
The
and
demon.
This is when you're like, Felsen's gonna do it. The demon wraps him in his wings and just burns him alive. He's done.
That's right.
Like,
he got
real
roasted.
fucking
Just
quick.
like,
Roasted.
cooks him.
Done.
Yeah.
And you're
on.
kind of like, that was a main
we
character.
just saw him die from a stab in the back. He gets up. You're like, oh, he's still alive. God damn it. He's like,
he's
you're
done.
buying the drinks.
And it's like
Boom,
his
gets
ashy
roasted.
body, like, in the wind.
It
He's
takes a while.
done.
He like
It does take a while.
burns alive.
It's a
in
big
the
guy to
wings.
burn alive.
He gets cooked.
But you're like, what the fuck? Like, I did not think that
I wasn't
Felsen was
yeah.
gonna straight up ash. Yeah.
Ashy Larry.
So then, and Nick gets like, something happens. He gets stabbed in an eye. I don't know. He's missing an eye. What's that about?
Is it the girl? Somebody or maybe a priest grabs like a thing off
Does
of.
it-
God, I'm gonna make any sense.
That's about
Somebody
how
grabs
much.
something off of a thing and scratches
Mm-hmm.
his eye, and that was when I texted you guys. This is The Witcher. Somebody
Like, hold
read
on.
The Witcher.
That is what happened.
It's
So
literally Geralt.
Nick has lost his eye.
I feel like it's inappropriate
Now-
to compare this to
Well, yeah.
how good The Witcher is.
Now Kai has grabbed the book and he's reading it. The dragon is like kind of like Nick or whatever, Bayman or whatever his name is,
Baymax.
is holding the dragon. The dragon's holding him and he's like stabbing him in the back with his like dragon wing claw things.
Oh yeah, man. He's
Well,
And
but
he's,
he
like,
pinned him to the
nonstop.
wall.
Oh, he did with knives.
So he couldn't get burned. He couldn't do the burn alive hug. He couldn't
The
do
burn.
the Smokey the Bear hug.
fatality. Yeah,
Right.
since he's a Mortal
while
Kombat
Kai's
CGI character.
reading the book, he's just getting stabbed though. Like
Over and over
nonstop.
and over.
Like big
Right.
time
He's,
stabs
you know
in the
he's
back.
done.
He's done so.
He's
Like-
dead for sure.
Yeah.
I don't have anything inch diameter.
Yeah.
They're big
Like,
holes.
On each side, one by one.
Over
He's
and
getting
over.
that.
Like getting stabbed with a railroad tie.
Oof.
Oof.
The kid finishes the book. The demon starts burning and just dies. Like he's done. The weather clears up, which is great.
Nice.
Right. Birdnado is gone.
Bernardo leaves. Nick is kind of like against a bookcase. He's bleeding like it's a fucking chocolate fountain scenario.
Yeah.
Like there's blood everywhere. Kai kind of tries to help. The girl, who I didn't realize was an actual girl, who just unfortunately got
Right.
possessed.
Right. And we finally
Right.
realize.
She is like naked in the middle of the floor.
We
which
never
is-
saw her
I don't
before she
remember
was
how
deemed
that
she's
happened.
possessed.
She's covered in a thick layer of ooze. Also, like,
Which is
Right.
like, ugh.
was she? It's very unclear what
It's
happened
weird.
to her.
But she's like on the floor.
It's
and
like
she
when
kind of
Terminator 2 when Arnold comes from the future.
comes
Yes.
yeah. She wakes up and looks, and Nick kind of like winks at her with his one eye, kind of scenario. And he tells Kai to keep her safe, which I'm like, I don't know why you're so obsessed with this girl. Like,
That's the thing. He has this
'Cause
weird,
it's-
like, this is my daughter. Right? They're trying to telegraph.
right? But it's not a
hug-
thing like
a dad,
it
but he
would
never
make
had a
sense if he
kid.
lost a daughter.
Right. He never had a family, as far as we know. He never had any kids, as far as we
Yeah.
know. He never. Yeah. It
But
is
instead,
a weird.
he's like, keep her safe.
That's why
to
I think
Kai.
somebody read
You're
The
like-
Witcher
I don't.
and was like,
She's Siri.
yeah, I'll make my own.
I mean, that would make
she's
sense,
Siri and what's her name combined? The black-haired magic lady,
Yennefer.
Yennefer. Yeah, he's whoever wrote this was just like, well, I don't have.
Fulton is
we just
who's the Witcher who like taught Geralt?
the old guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the old guy.
Yasamir,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I mean, this is just The Witcher.
So
awful.
it's just Kai and the girl left.
Vesemir.
They have the book though.
Yes. Yep.
So they have the book and they like bury everyone. And this is when a narrator starts, which you're like, what the fuck? There wasn't
Right.
a narrator before.
She's narrating it.
It's the girl.
Oh, I
And
wasn't that bothered.
she
by
says,
that, yeah.
life returned to the land. But they don't know the darkness that was and the heroes that were lost. And then she's like, I will tell their story. Even though 1 second before that narration comes up, she's like, will you tell me about them? Because I don't remember anything.
Well, she's
So
got to learn from Kai, who also met them like 20 minutes ago.
What story are you telling then? You weren't
Yeah.
around. Like, you were gone during this whole thing. And then it's just her and Kai riding off into the distance. and
Right
that's
off.
it.
That's it. And
That's
that's
it.
it.
I'll tell you what, points for not setting up a sequel.
Right. It just ends.
It just ends.
Oof, yeah.
Just ends.
But then Nick's hand comes out of the
Right,
grate.
exactly. His,
You know-
his wig comes out of the...
I will admit, when Felsen died, that was pretty
That
sad.
was pretty intense.
Yeah.
I liked
agree.
him. I liked him.
He was the best
I
out of
agree.
everyone.
Yeah.
You know what this movie makes me want to watch? It makes me want to watch. What's that movie with Orlando Bloom where he's like a knight? I've never seen that.
Oh,
There's lots
it was
of that.
right after Lord of the Rings.
Kingdom of Heaven.
Yes.
Ah,
Was that good?
no.
2005.
It's not good.
I don't think it was good.
I've never seen it.
I think
Go-
someone
go
saw him
watch-
as Legolas, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Wow!" And then they had a
Yeah.
shitty story, and you're like,
He
"Ugh."
cannot carry a movie.
Maybe we
Oh,
can
Mr.
watch Troy with him and Brad Pitt.
I was going to say, if you want to watch Kingdom of
Troy's
Heaven,
not
go watch
bad.
Troy. Troy is fantastic. I love
So-
Troy.
We should watch Troy and we should watch Gladiator.
We
Those
can't
are
watch
two
good
good
movies.
movies, Ben. We can have the
We don't
A
have
list.
to. We don't have to talk about it on the D list.
Well,
I
we
just
can
want to watch
watch
them.
them. Yeah, I mean, but you're
What was the one we were talking about earlier for D list? What did I say?
Hellboy.
No, the new Hellboy.
Yeah, the new
Oh, I
Hellboy.
don't want to watch that.
I don't want
That's
to do that though.
yucky.
That's like bad. That's like. Also, I feel like it's hard to watch, like superhero-ish movies because it's
That's
like a
fair.
different scale of.
Yeah.
But
I
here's
don't
the
know.
thing. Look at us. We're already talking about other stuff. That's how
Look
this
at
movie
us.
was. Forgettable. It was just whatever.
Yeah.
It was harmless. It was
Well, okay, but
I'm-
the thing is, like, I was sad Felsen died. I don't care that Nick died.
Nope,
Like,
not at
No,
all.
he
Roman?
sucked.
No, like
that
who
guy
cares?
sucked.
Because he didn't. It was Nick Cage in the 1300s. It was
Yeah.
not a character.
Yeah.
It was him. Like, I don't know. It just he shouldn't.
This absolutely could have been a 30-minute episode of a show. Like
Oh,
if,
yeah.
if there was just a bigger show of, I don't know, witch hunters or, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you could have crammed this into one episode without a doubt.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah. Nick Cage,
It's always
It's
just
always
Nick
just
Cage.
Nick Cage.
you got to admire the grind, but the
So,
dude cannot
putting-
act.
Putting him out of
That's not true.
modern day
He's in
was
some good
bizarre.
Yeah. You know what I like him in? There
What?
was a movie, Lord of War, where he sold weapons to, unsavory
Oh, I
characters.
think I've seen that movie.
He
I've seen
plays
that
a
one.
really good sort of sleazy salesman because he's always trying to move the
Well, that's 'cause
conversation
he
and
has
be.
a sleazy.
He's a
You know
sleazy.
what?
Well,
not
you know
Con
what?
Air,
The
but
newest
he's not-
movie. You know the
his-
movie called Pig?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It was like within the last year. Everybody says it's like such a good movie.
Are you talking
It
about
sa-
the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it sounds ridiculous. It's honestly like something about a pet pig and it's him, but it's like a serious movie and everyone's like, wow, this was so good. And now I'm curious to be like, did I just hear the wrong thing? Or
No
is
way.
this actually good? I feel like I need to. Are you looking it up, Ben?
There was
No,
another
I-
one. There was another one recently with him and Pedro Pascal called something like The Unbearable Weight of Immaculate Perfection or Immaculate Talent, which is it's like as I understand it, it's like a parody of Nick Cage being a super talented actor and what that's like, and this guy has to help him. But I don't know anything about it other than
I
that,
don't know.
it's sort of like this meta surrealism where
Stout
Yeah,
is
it's
like
Nick
whining behind.
yeah, he's got to get out of here.
He's like, I gotta get out, guys.
But like, okay, I
Well,
like.
hold on. Ken can't hear you. So hold on.
Did you look up that pig movie?
So the pig movie is a truffle hunter who lives alone in Oregon wilderness must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved foraging pig after she's kidnapped. And it sounds insane. It has a 7 out of 10 stars
On what?
on IMDb.
Everything has a 7 out of 10 stars
But
on IMDb.
I've heard it was really
What?
good.
I would watch it.
And
I
so
mean,
now I'm so curious. What year
But
is
I,
that?
I like Con Air is a good movie.
It's 2021.
Gone in 60 Seconds is a
yes,
good
R,
movie.
though.
good movie. Good movie.
Gone in
Would-
60 Seconds is
But
great.
Gone in 60
Would
Seconds is
Gone
good
in
because
60
it's not because it's Nick.
Not because of
'cause it's-
exactly. Because of everybody else and everything else.
It's like the whole
right?
plot line
Right.
is
Like if-
quick and it's the whole
If
it's
you
everything
replace
else.
Nick Cage with, I don't know, take your
Anyone
pick,
else?
literally anyone else in
At that
movie,
time, yeah.
Wait,
would
in
it have
Pig
been?
though, if you look it up, he does not look like himself. It's 2021. Now we just need to watch this movie and see
Alright,
Ben.
hold on.
All right,
He
this
looks
is
like a
really
totally
getting out of
different guy.
control, and we're getting very close to our 95-minute time limit.
Oh my, we
We're
don't have
there.
a time
We're
limit.
there.
We have a 3-hour time limit. No.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna wrap up our D-list show. If you want to
Wait.
keep talking about random Nick Cage movies on stream here, we can keep doing it.
Do you see 1.2?
This Witches Brew Wine.
No.
You
There
gotta
are
finish
some
it.
people that help pay for the
Oh yeah, I
D-List
was
movie.
definitely gonna say this.
No,
So
you're not.
we would like to thank our patrons for providing us rental fees for Son
Treats
of a Witch.
like this.
Son of a witch.
What was this? I
Yeah.
don't remember what this was
Season
called.
of the Wig.
Season of the Wig. Season of the Wig. So a special thank you to Ryan Quinn, Phil Brenz, and Joe Madigan for help paying for our rental fees for this movie. We got to watch it ad-free. There was a free ad version that I was never going to watch because
Ben was very mad.
Oh man, I had to watch this. I had to watch like 5 minutes of continuous ads to get this movie to play.
Well,
Really?
that's- You probably
Yeah.
watched the
Like,
should have
shit.
paid the $4.
You know,
Well,
I'll
it's
tell you what though.
$4.
You know what's nice? It shows the timer up in the top right corner, and
You
as
go to the
soon
bathroom.
as soon as you do the math on what 680 seconds is, you're like, "Well, I'm out of here." Right? You just leave it running and come back.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was the same where it was like with ads and Ben was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I was like, "Okay, I guess not."
It didn't
Like,
interrupt the movie, which
See, I thought it was going to be during the movie.
yeah, if it did that, boy, that you cancel.
is
your
it just
subscri-
like right before the
yeah?
movie?
They
Or
just
oh.
flood you with ads
Ben!
beforehand.
You
Well, we
owe-
could have done
Ben,
that.
you owe me $4.
No, thank you to the patrons for us not having to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to catch the next D-list, catch us in another month. We'll be on the first Thursday of
November.
November.
Okay.
Well,
Did you say
what are we gonna be-
September?
Whatever. What are we going to be watching, Em?
We will be watching Gemini, right? Is that what's
Gemini
called?
Oh, with
Man?
Will Smith?
Yes,
Gemini Man?
Man.
with Will Smiths.
Will Smith and Will
Smiths.
Smith. So
And if
I'm
you want to
curious
catch,
about that,
yeah, I
Uh,
don't know.
go check out the podcast feed or the Date Night Dice YouTube channel. If you want to check out Date Night Thrice, yes, the podcast is back with a new format. We're going to be doing it once a month in the middle of the month. So at the beginning of the month, we'll do the D-list. In the middle of the month, we're going to do the podcast where we do a top 3 countdown in 3 categories for the month. Our 3 most noteworthy things in those 3 categories. Typically, they're going to be geeky things like tabletop gaming, video games, and movies. The stuff we've been doing all along, but this does open us up to some other possibilities. So go check us out. Check out the podcast feed, Date Night Dice, Date Night Thrice. I think we'll also find it. And go check out the Date Night Dice YouTube channel. For everybody who tuned in live on the Twitch and YouTube,
you.
thank you for tuning in. And until next time, we will see you later.